Ladies and gents, good evening. It's that time of the week once again. I've just been scrambling back from fish houses, completely lost track of time. Thought, Jesus, it was a tough call whether I stay there and do it or come back. But anyway, I'm here. I'm back home in my Sunday vibe once again. I've had a mad day. I have working on a little project, just down a rabbit hole completely. Tell you, it's not a start on something like that. Didn't know if I was gonna come back out today. Absolute madness, but there we are. Hope you've all had a great day, and yeah, first day of the summer holidays tomorrow as well. Which obviously it becomes quite a challenging time to say the least, doesn't it? So yeah, there we go. See how that one plays out. So a few bits to discuss tonight. The first bit's probably going to be the absolute madness that's going on this auction tonight. Clearly, the tactics at trying to grab a bargain are all there for all to be seen. So I'll have a word with you about that in a moment. And then one that's on my mind, because there's a couple of fish. We've still got fish on the drops page. We've got fish. There's a couple on the koi for sale page, and a few kicking around that I think this is a topic I've touched on quite a bit, is in trying to spot and find value and all the rest of it. And a topic I think is worth a discussion, certainly when it comes to getting value for money in the hobby and what value for money actually looks like, and the kind of fish you have to look at. Maybe I'm going to say the risk you have to take, because obviously there's no certainties. But yeah, it's how certain elements obviously cause or maybe push you down a route where everything's looking expensive, and it isn't necessarily the case. If you just broaden it out, the whole thing I've built around this is pretty much on that philosophy. I've seen what happens with the pricing over 2.5 decades, what goes off, the premiums you pay for certain things, certain aspects. And where true value actually sits is what I think I've discovered, after all that amount of time. And I'm glad I am with the way the kind of vibe and scene is going out there as well, because it's no fun. Certainly when you see the autumn and the Nisai side of it, really. So yeah, but tonight's lineup anyway. Before we get into that, we've got a hell of a spread on. It really is. Been building it. You saw some of the code in this side being chosen on the live stream the other day. I'll let people pick them. I hope those people who chose them are floating around waiting with the bids. Some of them aren't there at minute. Lovely selection of the value fish from Saito. Yeah, they're just exceptional. So much depth of quality. That ties into this whole conversation, really. Again, in a farm I've found there and what he does and the value he represents against the kind of general market. DK Shiros, I've been in that stash. There's a couple, one particular female. In fact, let me get the screen up now, and at least you'll have a point of reference. You've even had one, the very last listing out, my deep stash. Have I got the right one now is the question. I have. Sound. Luke's moved one of my views. Oh, there it is. There it is. Boom. No call tonight. Still home. Still got home with his laptop again. But to be honest, with how hard I've got them working at the moment, I don't feel like it's really appropriate to drag him in on a Sunday. That's where I'm at with that one, Marie. So yeah, I think it's family time for him, especially Cole. Right, the fish. Here we go. So the Saito spread, as you can see, Sank is absolutely delightful. Marido Bloodline is using for them, but you can just see, look, the patterns, skin qualities, everything they've got for these kind of prices is market busting value, in my opinion. But the DK is not even a single bid on that yet. That is a stunning 35 centimeter female as well. Look at the potential of it. It is amazing. The body line there for a start is just class. Look at the kind of length, the power points it's got, the flow of that body line down the side is just divine. It really is. Then we look at the potential flow of the Sumi pattern here. Got it all going on. Sumi's not quite up at its peak yet. Wouldn't expect it to be. Water's red hot. But yeah, what a fish. What a fish. £200 start bid. No one on that yet. Ginrini Utsori, I expected to be stunning fish. Been some activity on that. Get one of the Saito. Someone's finally put a bid down on the Pilginrin Matsukawabaki from Koda. I mean, what a nuts fish. Picture didn't really do that justice for how it looked in the flesh. And the few of the Koda fish are carrying a bit of a yellow tint through them because I've been hitting them hard on the food and the colour food as well. So they've not had a chance to condition that. These were literally fresh out that pond the other day. This Shiro as well. I mean, just look at the pattern and skin qualities again. £200, no bids as of yet. Saito fish again, nice Tancho Sanki, lovely kohaku here. It's just so much quality to it, really high level pattern. Pilginrin, this is one of the biggest, best Pilginrin kohakus I've seen. I think the body line on it's stunning. It's got a really strong structure, not typical of a Pilginrin that in general, and looking good. And then been in a yellow monkey stash again. Now here's one. I mean, yes. So we've got a 52 centimeter Nissai that you could nick for 500 quid at the minute. Original certificate with it as well. And the quality of the thing, look, it's just there. It's going to grow into a powerhouse. Big, big fish. No doubts there. Super quality Ginrin, an absolute jackhammer of a head on the thing as well. And this is the sort of thing when we're talking about value for money. And I know people will be avoiding that because they've seen the male badge. I never hide it. Rather than hide it, I'm going to give you a bollocking. You see, how's that? These you've seen. I mean, the male fish, you've seen what I do with males now, especially when they're from the genetics that the likes of these are. You know, just normal Dainichi Gosanki, never mind the monkeys. And right there, I absolutely guarantee you, if you turn that to female, you times that price by 4 just on the starting bid, probably more, all said and done. Guarantee it. I've seen it. You often can't actually even buy them for that in Japan, that kind of money. And that's there straight away. That fish has got the structure, it's got the quality, it's got the genetics. You put it in the right pond, it'll still grow like crazy. Like crazy. And that's where you start ratting out your value. Koda Goshki, lovely fish. Now I must say I've mucked up. Well, I say mucked up. The guys, the data wasn't in there. The video wasn't in. So unfortunately, that's not in there. But I believe I've still, yeah, appraisal's written up. I mean, the fish looks grand. You can see where it's at. And £200 start on that for a Koda Goshki, that quality. Super. That I expected. I think there'll be a strong finish on it. I mean, it just needs no explanation. Look, what a Shiro that is. Quite remarkable. But that, again, another prime example of what I anticipate to happen here. There's likely a battle on that fish because of how it looks right now. And it does look amazing. It would draw anybody in. But then we move up and look at that one. Just, it's not quite, it's a rough diamond, you know, it's not polished up yet. But by the time it is, there's possibly a better fish there than that one. I think there'll be a higher level of pattern overall. And potentially in that structure, even that's not got the quite the same level of volume yet as well. So that's what I mean, because it just doesn't got that same level of finish on it at the moment. People look away from it, and that's what happened. I sit on that fish, give it a solid 6 months and work my magic with it, comes back in at a £500 starting bid, and everyone's probably fighting over it. That's the reality of what happens when you can't kind of look past the differences, or maybe a fish not being at its absolute peak at the moment. Who'd want it at its peak where it's at? And I often don't put these fish in, you know, because sometimes it's even that bad. I look at them and think, waste of time putting that in, it's just going to get overlooked. And it's just value, real value, just sat there. Same. Oh, someone's done it already. Look, and I can't fault you. This, I think, is the potentially the starfish of the auction. I really do. If you can just give that the time, the conditioning. So the Shiroji is not up at the minute, as I just explained with the coders. But this, as a Deutsch show, it's got all the makings and just needing. You can see Sumi sat everywhere. It just needs time. You give that time and conditioning, you end up there with a Deutsch show that comes in here again. Probably 6 months of conditioning, £500 start bid, and there's a fight for it, as there has been for Deutsch showers that look more all there at the minute. What have I done? And that's how it goes. It's what you got to look beyond, because I put that, I've took a massive risk. For me, I don't want any less than 500 quid. I'm going to be disappointed on that. I really do. For the auctions, for the fun of the auctions and making it enjoyable, put these things in. But that to me is just crazy value sat there at this moment in time. Female fish as well. More cracking Saito pieces. You can see them just absolutely glowing. Battle's been on this one, and I expected it, because again, look, it's all there. Yes, it's something different, but it's very, very flashy. It's in your face. Still, again, not 100% because the Kuro base is pulling through, but I don't think that'll end there on that one. It's a very unusual and nice example of a Deutskin Ringoshki. Another stonking big yellow monkey, 52 cm, crazy bigger body on that one, and that mega intense color. It's so intense when you see it on the video, especially. It's wild. Look at that. Absolutely wild. And everything the same as with the last one. The Benicamon reel is another. If I'm looking at that around the outline of the fish, the quality of the structure that it's got, superb. All you need to do is sit back and wait for the Sumi. And with this one in particular, it's been really steady Sumi development. Quite predictable in how it's progressed. It's coming up on the head here. You can quite easily mistake this for being messy. It's Sumi that's literally just broken the skin for the first time, and now it's going to continue to progress on. So I think you could potentially looking at a show level Benicamon reel there by the time it's done, and get that body filled out, because it's got a cracking structure. I really do. And then the one, I am taking a massive gamble on this, and unless there's a fight for it, I'd rather prefer nobody stuck a bid on it, to be honest. It's my very last Saito Shunku from that original batch. Crazy things, this. I've been watching it come from all white to developing this superb colour in the fins, yellow Kanoko all over the body. It's eventually going to turn that yellowy gold colour. But just look at the quality of the base as well. It's just polished, so clean, squeaky white, amazing Fuka in progression. Already at 62 cm in my growing pond. That was a measurement from a while back as well, and I can see it's stuck a lot on, but we'll get into that one a little bit more. Another one where you have that amazing chance to beat the dealer, because we don't fully know how that pattern's going to materialize. I've watched it come from nothing to that, but still at the age it's at, we're nowhere near done. The one at the farm here took 5 years to reach its peak. That's something, again, massively overlooked when everyone's looking at fish, is how long it actually takes to get these things to the level, you know, to their peak. We're looking at 2 or 3 year old fish and writing them off when, like I said, they're just nowhere near at this point. It's wild. So first Kohaku looks like it's about to end. Been a nice little rally on that one. So anti-snipe is on tonight. Oh, and before I forget, I haven't got round to doing the sprint auctions again. I left it. I thought I'll get them done, and damn rabbit hole today, completely forgot. So apologies, but I'll make up for it this week. We've got a hell of a lot lined up throughout the week again. So I will make up for it, that's for sure. Someone's now seen sense on that. DK jumped in at 210 quid. That must have been, we've got a couple of people there. Yes, 100%. So yeah, the rant. I think this happens quite a bit, in that, you know, at a certain point in the hobby, and this just happens. I think it's human nature with, excuse me, how we see things. Pattern pattern is a bit that really draws you in, but it's learning to look at potential rather than directly what's in front of you. And it's a big word used in koi, potential. Now, I must say, and I'm putting myself in a camp here where I feel qualified enough to use that word because of the amount of time I've been doing it for, raising fish, selecting them right back from fryers you've seen in Japan. You know, that's a deep understanding of how those young fish materialize. Over 20 years ago, when I started out, my obsession was wanting to learn how to pick fish when they're this big that can become something when they're that big. And I've obsessed over it ever since, and I've practiced it and refined it. And that is what's enabled me to really spot and see value in a market right now that is generally overpriced. There's not a lot of value, I think, in the general market where things are, certainly when it gets into the bigger breeders, more commercial ones. So as I'm looking around, you know, you use that, you see that potential. When I see a batch of fish, you can see something. When you learn about the bloodlines, the genetics, it gives you another deeper understanding of what might come from it. And that's what stops you going around paying top price. When you walk into a dealer's or a breeder's, wherever it is, there's always the fish that stands out. That fish always generally carries a premium. If it's in an auction, it'll be more competitive. It's the way it goes. You see the process. I don't know if I've told this story before, but Hoshikin, get on with him, you know, really, really well. Spend quite a lot of time with him. And I'm there one autumn, just on my own, doing my own thing. And this fish house, all these crazy Thai customers come in. It's so loud. It's madness. And basically almost got shoved out of the way of the pond, the best pond, where he's unloading this side, they're going straight in. So anyway, I just got enough of an eye on it, and I'm looking at what's happening, and I'm just observing all the fish they're eyeing up, pointing constantly this one. And it's all just literally the most obvious fish, 100%. And I'd clocked a fish that I thought pretty much knew it would still be there, and then hoped it would be. And they're all doing the thing, they're lifting up. I'm listening to what's going off. I'm listening to the prices being quoted, thinking, fucking hell. And then actually starting to think, Jesus, when I go and pick that a minute, what I think still the best fish in that pond, it's going to be savage based on these prices. Anyway, they all fucked off. It all calmed down for a minute, and my fish I wanted was still there. And I went over, I want that one. And Katsuyuki's face just lit up. He says, that's my favorite one in there. And then I'm thinking, oh no, this ain't going well. It was about a third of the price of what I'd heard him quoting on the others. And a reason for that, you think, oh, why? He said it's his favorite, you know, all the rest of it. And clearly there's a lot of quality there. Well, yes, but there's an understanding that obviously he knew certain fish in that pond, you quote that crazy high price because it's all matches up. There's competition for it. Boom, the fish goes. The other ones, not so much. And there's a factor of you know, we see quality, see potential, but there's certain factors that are unknown at that point, and you factor them in, and that's where you get your reduction in price. So when you're going around looking for everything to be finished, polished, that perfect pattern, this, that, and the other, that is when everything starts all of a sudden looking dearer and dearer, because the amount of fish that fit in that bracket become less and less and less. The only time that doesn't happen is if you actually start compromising on quality somewhere, and there always will be. If you've walked in somewhere, you see something online and you think that's the perfect fish, got the pattern, all this, all that, and it's, you know, 200-300 quid, you're thinking, blooming heck, guarantee you there's something somewhere, unless you've got someone, you know, hemorrhaging money out, doing some crazy sales and shit like that. Absolutely guarantee you there's something hidden. And you've seen it here with what I do, you know, raising fish through. Marie nabbed me a sargi last week, early in the week, you know, because it's just not quite materialized how I wanted. You know, it can't command it. So you've got elements like that as well. But yeah, it's that word potential. But I think, just to caveat this, by the way, obviously there's a lot of people I see out there using it, and then you get little daft things like, you know, this sumi will come up, and that a lot of things like that get said by people who don't have any understanding. They've got no CV and no pedigree to even the words to be even allowed to come out of their mouth. to be honest. And obviously that's concerning. When I see it, I just want to die, because I'm looking going, no, that's definitely not going to happen. Or as that's being said, that's not a certainty. It's when that kind of stuff gets done that people get put off. But if we take it in the case of that DK, let's just grab it back, look, which is actually hotting up now. The DK there is exactly that. So I'm looking around the outlines. I know the Sumi's got quality. I can see like this bit on their head has got real quality. At the moment, I understand the conditions. You know, water's been incredibly warm. It's not the best for Sumi. The light's been incredibly strong. The Sumi got to materialize. Now, given the development the rest of this year, I expect that to happen. Could take 2 years for that to be the case. But I'm also looking, you know, the Sumi Sashi, another big indicator of what can come, and that there's more depth in the Sumi to come out that I use. But then again, just looking around the outline of the fish, I like the pattern potential. You see how it's all setting up. And then I just look at that body line and bone structure above everything and see real quality and value in that. The rest, for me at that point, is it just needs time now to see what happens. That is literally, I don't overanalyze it more than that. I see enough quality and potential there and if I had the space, that'd be a definite one for a further grow on for sure. The only reason it's not still in a pond is because I genuinely haven't got the space for it, which then also opens up an opportunity circumstances. Otherwise, still in a growing pond, hell of a lot higher starting price, and you've got your growing then in it as well. Probably more competitive for it because it's a different package. So there's all these elements to consider, but like I say, I think it's just a stark reality there. Look, when you see it, just how that one absolutely popped. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that shit, far from it. It's a quality Shiro, absolutely quality. But just the nature of how that pops, because the Shiroji's really cleaned up, the Sumi's already a lot stronger, a lot more finished, a lot of shine to it. It makes it more attractive. And that can tend to slip under the radar. So, but yeah, loving that bone structure, proper DK body or character on that one. Giving it sorry, going well. Everything's got movement on the Matsukawa Baki. Oh, and that one as well. That had to go. Just too good. No 27 minutes yet on that one, and no one on the Pilgin Rin yet. Interesting. Although there's a lot to happen. No one on the Goshki. I think someone else has entered the race on the Deutsche Shower. Nice. So yeah, that's where I see it. And like I say, it is alarming that I do see a lot of other people selling fish who I know haven't got the qualifications, let's say, or just the fucking experience to be speaking of potential and all the rest of it. But when you get an understanding, when I'm looking, I think this is the biggest thing. I don't overanalyze young fish too much. I look around the edges a lot. I look for the signs of quality. That is where I'm at. And I'm looking at that structure. Fucking hell, yeah, that's where it needs to be. Then is there something in the Sumi that can give me an indication there's going to be quality Sumi? Reading Sumi development is an interesting one. That's a lot of skill, because you have to understand the types of Sumi, the conditions, massively important for predicting what's going to come, and just some signs that I will particularly look for in certain cases. In the case of the one we're speaking about here, there's nothing to my mind that tells me that's not going to reach a really high level eventually. Zimkoi Master won't let me bid. Can you give me any more information on which fish? Because I don't think everybody else is having the same issue. Yellow monkeys, eh? And that Deutsche Shower still. That's the one that's going to rattle me the most tonight. I think either that or someone nicking my Shunku for start bid. That'll be the one that that really gets the goat. Right. Anyway, just a quick reminder: if you are tuning in over on YouTube for the or wondering what the hell's going on, if you've discovered us over there, we've currently got the auction live at rickystoddartnishikigoi.com. you can register using the QR code above and go over there for what we deem the best experience we're building out, where you can actually have the community chat, the live stream, open or audio only, and also participate in the auction all on one screen on one device. And yeah, there's some cracking value there to be had. Shipping, payments, everything, it's all done on the platform. New users, please, shipping is not arranged at checkout. We've completely built a bespoke experience where you just buy your fish, you add them to your My collection on the site before you add them to your physical collection. So at any point, if you've made a purchase, whenever you're ready, you can go to, there's a literally thing for shipments, and you can go in there and create a new shipment and book it at your convenience. Ginrin Hilsaw is in the closing minutes, 260 quid. That's cracking value on that. I saw down as unknown as well. I didn't realize that is actually female, 100% female. I fucked up there, haven't I? There we go. We're on me. That one sits. Some cracking value being had on those Saito Tosai as well. And again, forgive me, I realized that for some reason the data's not pulled through, but all the Saito fish on there are Tosai. Oh, DK Shiro finished as well, did it? I didn't see that. Yeah, someone's got cracking value there on that, 100%. Nice. Which leaves us at Pearl. The next big one coming up is the Pilgrim Matsukau back. He's so different, 255 on that at the moment. Also great value, I think. And the next DK, 205. I think there's got to be a bit more to be had in that one yet. In other news, crazy week that we've had. So behind the scenes, the platform, as it's now become known, obviously massive transition away from what we were doing on WhatsApp to this, because WhatsApp was never going to be sustainable at the rate we were going. It's just causing chaos, which we've been undoing ever since we launched this. And obviously there was a smoothness to WhatsApp, don't get me wrong, from your guys' side of it when we're interacting through it, but a lot behind the scenes that just wasn't. So there's a big play to where we're heading with this in so many different directions, but we are aggressively working on the next part behind the scenes. And Mr. Dan was doing his usual tricks last week when I'm busy at the farm, and then all of a sudden he crops up and went, I've got something to show you. So the speed at which he chomped through it was quite amazing. And then one part we're actually working on, which you'll be, if you're in this YouTube world, back from when I started doing koi auctions on YouTube, when nobody else had. Remember the whole lag issues, the comments coming through, the delayed biddings, all the rest of it, which was madness. Now, obviously, we've got to this point where we've got a combined experience all in one place, and obviously we're not stopping there. And there is still even a lag. There will be, because of how live streaming works with YouTube, between me speaking and what's going on the screen. So you should always pay attention to the screen at the minute, by the way. And that's something I've been having them conversations like, can we get that gone? Oh, Mr. Dan, take a bow. So whatever he showed me last week, over the weekend, I think he went down a rabbit hole as I did, and ended up completely rebuilding everything he'd done for this next bit. And let's just say half a second, I think is the word, is the quota. So basically nothing. Let me just check the message. Yes, probably down to half a second. Wowzers. So we will be in sync pretty much with what's happening at this next part. Obviously not now. All will make sense at some point, which is yeah, quite incredible. I'm building some content up for the blogs we got launched, the content pages at the moment, to a few little teethers in actually getting it done. A little bit slow, but I'm working on that as well, which is going to be a nice addition. Big part of it for me, as well as supplying you these great fish. I want to be able to make you all masters at keeping them and getting the most out of them as well, and teaching you how to sniff that value out. So yeah, it'd be good to get a fair chunk of that on there as well. But this next bit, my God, I'm excited for. Just as I'm excited to have a full team back next week again. Obviously, holidays have plagued us a little bit this week and slowed us down, but we'll be back on it next week. Right, where are we at with these ones? Let me get this back up on the screen. 255 on that Pilgrim ring. I think that's a lot of fish for the money on that one at the minute. And that's just nuts. Just absolutely nuts. You go and find me a Shiro that looks like that anywhere from NND DK line for 205 quid. Superb. The level that it's at, look, the Sumi, you can see there's no windows within the Sumi. And the big tell with that one is the Sumi sashi. A lot of people ignore sashi when it comes to Sumi, but just as with Bene, that sashi there is an indicator of the Sumi in the deeper layer of the skin. And it's that deeper layer that is basically just going to keep pushing up, adding more and more thickness and shine and that lacquer coating to the Sumi. But the balance of the pattern, quirky head pattern, and then the other little indicator, look, you can use sometimes if you've got Sumi sat down on the body, you're wondering how good it might be, you can go to the Motoguro on the fin as a tell, and that's already looking really good. It's really small, compact Motoguro at the minute, sat off the front ray. That's just a little give. We don't know why it is. It's just something that has been picked up, you know, by Sori breeders over years and knowledge that gets passed on. But Sumi, when it sits off the front ray of the pec fin, tends to be some of the highest quality you'll see. And it does correlate here, look, between what you're seeing on the body, in the fin, and all the rest of it. Very, very high quality skin and a cracking pattern there. I thought there'd been a bit more of a fight on that little Kohaku as well. But it's this row. This is how someone's on the Goshki already. Look, happy days. Might be nicking a bargain there, but Pilgrim ring Kohaku. Now, again, just looking at this one, looking through some things you're seeing that might be putting you off. So, again, this is just literally whipped out the growing pond and photographed on Friday. Cracking body line, female fish, nice balance, and that Pilgrim ring there to it. You know, it's got a lot of good aspects to it. Right now, the Shiroji, even from the pecs, the body and the head, they're all a bit off colour. That's been the amount of colour food pumped down them, for one, and the growth through. The combination of that mix doesn't bode well for Shiroji. I moved that outside in about 4 to 6 weeks of a change of diet, change of environment as well, less intense. It just pulls very quickly. You get that bright white. I put that fish on here with that bright white Shiroji beaming against that Bene. It's a different conversation. It's a little bits like that, especially when you know the environmental conditions, the raising, you know, what's happened 6 months, 12 months, even 18 months ago, all can help you understand where a fish is heading. You know, it's often knowledge I'll try and dig in to get. If there's something I'm unsure about on a fish, you know, it's not just a case of knowing bloodline, you know, what have you been doing with this? Could be that the body's not ideal or something along them lines. Well, you know, I've kept it this way, done this, done that, right, I get it. So I know it can easily be recovered. Crikey, we've got a fight on our hands there with the Pilgrim ring. Look, deserved as well. It's an insanely, well, I don't think I've ever seen one, to be honest with you. Getting a bit dark. Sorry, Maria, comment. Our Shunku has really started to change. The Fukurin on ours is going Yamabuki type yellow, but with the golden Harawaki style pattern. Really interesting fish. They are. They are. And that one I've got in here is a very, very special one as well. Gonna be. Absolutely know it. Yes, battle on our hands anyway. I think the anti-snipe's going to play in a fair bit on that one. It looks like there's a nice battle going on that. That's a real play. And here again, look, just a little tip I'm going to share with you, actually. This was hard. So when we're photographing, the amount of work goes, because it's quite easy to all of a sudden get a straight, well, I'll say it's quite easy to get a straight picture. Not always, but there's all the little nuances, alignment of the pec fins, making sure there's no weird movement in the body that can just distribute weight slightly wrong. That's not actually how the fish looks. Then a big one here is the fact the dorsal fin's laid over. That dorsal fin being laid over, look, completely takes out the element of shiroji that you can actually see. Let's have a word with Col about his videos here, there, which is a massive, massive part of the pattern. So when we photograph off, you've really got to check what we've done to make sure them bits, because how different does that look when you see that aspect there compared with the picture? Look, it's crazy. So even in the world of online fish buying, this applies to myself as well, where I've been in online auctions and all the rest of it. You have to learn to look through and read the pictures even to understand what might be going off, go on, small details you might miss as well. There's a hell of a lot to it. Hell of a lot to it. Not missing anything with that one though. Look, absolutely spot on. 60 quid. That is value right there. And the monkey. Is anyone going to? That is just such market busting value. It is a madness, absolute madness. Hotting up on the Deutsche Shower. Nice to see. Then I am getting to the point where I'm going to beg you, please, not to, unless there's two of you coming and having a fight over that one, you're going to upset me. Party time on all them three. Anti-snipe being triggered left, right, and centre. Nice. And the Saito fish. Let's bring him into the conversation there as well, because in the grand scheme, obviously, with everything going, I'm constantly looking, and this actually comes more through my own intrigue. So how's the battle going? Yeah, my own intrigue on obviously looking for something different every year. I think I spoke about this when someone asked, I think Mickey asked me about Taniguchi, or what breeder I think is doing the most interesting stuff at the moment. And obviously, you know, as well as looking for something interesting, it's obviously trying to, you know, find value, find quality genetics, where a farm that's not, you know, where you're having to go and there's 50 people fighting with chopsticks over fish, because, you know, I want to be able to get a decent amount of quality fish as well. And Saito has been exactly that for me. And obviously getting to know him is understanding his understanding of fish, because he's just a small farm. He's not got a lot of indoor space. He's outdoor. He's had to be quite thrifty. He knows he struggles to compete against the bigger guys. So what he does to counteract that is he knows he's got to get creative in his breeding. He's really invested well in his parent fish over the years. I've seen the Kohaku line get built. This next iteration of it with the Kinsen female also then get built. And yeah, it's really amazing when you see it. You see the results, you see the fish, you know what gets into it. The fact he's had this whole development of putting Karashi blood into a lot of stuff from the Marado Karashi line. My God, that the battle on the Pilgin Rin is really hot in it. We're at 430 on that at the moment. Little Kohaku next to it at 90. That's coming up to end. Yeah, so and that's it. And then obviously there's other elements for me that he's still a breeder where I get to spend good time, his time available, willing to speak and share, and almost like yeah, it's the level of interaction is very appealing. But Taniguchi's like that, and on a very different scale. But it's where I see that that value. And obviously, like then now everything going on with sort of in the Ginring Karashi scene, you know, he does them, and again you've got this cracking value and just depth of quality there in his Goshki as well, you name it. And there's other breeders out there. I think NND's been that for me for years, absolutely years. It's why we've always done a lot with them. Yeah, great to see. And there's other ones that you generally see crop up, maybe others that you see me you know, frequenting a bit, and that's a lot of the time that'll be the reason. You know, it's where I think there's unrecognized value really, and then hopefully if I can get that and then educate you guys there on what I'm seeing, you help to understand it and see what's sat behind it. Because it's another thing with Japanese koi, you know, not everything you take at face value. It's not just a kohaku. You know, there's a lot more behind it. In every breeder's kohaku, there's a different set of genetics, story, you know, you name it, characteristics. And it's just a case of understanding it, and then you know, you can go from there. Once you're wiser and educated on it, you can decide, oh, someone's jumped on the first of the yellow monkeys. Had to happen, didn't it? Because at 500 quid, it's a madness. It really is. And just the other one coming up, the Pearl Ginrin Matsukawa Baki is in its last 40 seconds at the moment. There it is, look. 430 quid. Is that the end of that one now? Nice to see some more movement on that. I think that's still under where I'd pitch it if I were fixed pricing it, that's for sure. I wonder how many people's been at it on that one. Couple by the looks of it. Good battle on that though. Very good battle. Pearl Ginrin Kohaku. What is it, ladies and gents? What is it that's not resonating there? Does someone want to tell me if I'm missing something? Because I mean, I'm just just looking at the body alone, knowing how difficult it is to get any sort of body or volume on Pearl Ginrin in general, and for where that's at and female, say by the time that Shiroji polishes up, and it absolutely will do. Thankful that's the one I keep checking. Everything crossed. Oh dear. I had another one out that pond, the same pond that's from. It's me super growing pond down the bottom end, and I thought no, we'll just dip my toe in with one tonight. I can't cope with parting with two. Oh dearie me, madness, absolute madness. The Tamasabu were similar, just following this vibe tonight. Obviously, you know, when that before NND really took off, obviously I was there at the very early, well, the start of it with Okada, and it was all Marushin, and it's still obviously Marushin's a power player because of his really big bloodline. And but for me, I was sort of thinking, I'm looking all the time thinking, right, so I like them because they grow big, and the fact that they grow big, I'm prepared to sacrifice, you know, a bit on the pattern. I'm focusing on that structure and the other qualities, but you never seem to get the pattern level from him. And we all love a nice pattern, you know. It's a big part of fish keeping, and it's a big attractive point. And absolutely nothing. I'm still just got my eye on that Pearl Ginrin. Last 3 minutes now, and it's no bidders yet. Still, the be a record as well at first fish not to sell at this rate. That's a crazy one. Anyway, yeah. So NND started, and obviously, like, you know, all of a sudden, I just noticed really early doors are getting this great shape to them that was really desirable, and. Not only that, I thought, oh, cracking patterns on them, really nice. So, you know, and they were getting a decent size, not massive to begin with, but it was using all the right parents. And, you know, eventually over time, you know, then it was, you know, it only took him a couple of years, and all of a sudden, boom, he's making these things pop. They're getting big. They've got the patterns, and pound for pound compared to the Marusian stuff, different level. Certainly when you move into the higher end of it, what you're getting at NND for your money is night and day compared to what you was getting at Marusian. And at Marusian, because demand was so mental, which is obviously what's partly shoving the price up, you're not getting value, you're not getting the looking at what you want. And I don't think it would have took off, you know, what we've been doing with Tamasaba if it wasn't for the creation of that NND stuff. So, and now we get to this year, I've got so many variants and all this different stuff he's up to. It's amazing. Pilgin Ring Kohaku, we're into about a minute and a half, still no bids. I am shocked. I am shocked. That's clearly one I'm going to have to go and lock away and work with magic with and bring it back and prove the point and case with that one. Starting to think I've ballsed some up with it. No, video's all there. It looks even better on video. Bodyline's an absolute treat. It really is. Oh, someone's decided they're having it. I think you just wanted to shut me up moaning about it, didn't you? I think that's what that was. Crazy. And now I'm going to moan about the fact you're going to rob it for 200 quid as well. It's yeah, fascinating there. Absolutely fascinating. The first of the Yellow Monkeys is almost into the last 3 minutes. No further movement on that. Karashigoi just still the single bidder. No more movement on the other DK, the very, very flashy one. Now I'm going to pull back round to that now, actually, because I don't want people to misunderstand what I've been saying. The reason the fish like this end up commanding the prices that they do, A, is because of the points I've mentioned, how they look, the fact that, you know, it's all there, it's striking visually, but of course there's quality there, and that's why they're popular. And it's this type of fish that if you're in a, you know, the show scene or anything like that, you can see it's very easy just to take this, a bit more conditioning on it. You know, you're 90% of the way there of having something like that show ready. And you know, that's another reason in Japan, younger fish that kind of really, they're all there showing, looking amazing, can tend to command them higher prices. It's for that very reason that we now have a little battle on the Pilgin Ring. It's for the very reason that they can be entered into them shows and actually be ready enough to compete, because the one I showed previously, you'd be a while off that being a show fish if it ever got to that point in its life. You know, it might be that it enters it might be 2, 3, 4 years before it actually fully gets there. Where we got 116 that went for, 231 on the Pilgin Ring. That's it. See where that ends. But that I think you're easy, you know, as a fixed price fish anywhere in the £400 kind of mark. And the monkey madness, that is, isn't it? Absolute insanity. Goshki even more so, £200 on that. I didn't get a chance to sex it as a thing, but I would put my money on that being female, just looking at the way it's carrying around there. Koda Goshkis as well. That's is actually another good example of what I'm talking about, because you've not got, you know, the full development of the Kuro base at the minute. So the base color tends to look a little bit messy, and when they get that, you get that color pop. You all know what I mean, the dark base, the electric Benny, then all of a sudden it's an absolute bloodbath for them, which is how it goes. But until that point, and all that is with that is a matter of time. You can see the Sumisatwi in the scales. You just got the right environment to spread it out a bit. When water's been in, you know, nearly 30 degrees, that's not an optimal environment for that to be happening in the slightest. I see a bit more movement on that Deutsch show. That really is, for me, potential-wise, been one of the top fish available tonight. Been very quiet on the questions tonight, ladies and gents. I must say, all deeply focused on the auction. Comments or anything? Oh, hang on a minute. We've had a bit of an issue again, bit looks of it. Let me just drop that off. Might have to give tech support a buzz here. Right, I'm going to see if Daniel's around. Someone asked me why 30C thought optimal was 23 to 25. It is. When they're in a greenhouse, you've got no control over it. We've had a heat wave. There's fucking naff all I can do about it other than cope with what comes. Just dropping down a message. There we go. Yes. Bad gateway. I have just let Dan know. Apologies, ladies and gents, if that's plaguing. It doesn't seem to be a permanent problem, but it is intermittent. So just persevere with it. Dan has just said he's just driving. So unfortunately, I don't think it's anything he can particularly jump on. Bids do seem to be getting through, though. Yellow Monkey ended at 500 quid. Wowzers. Wowzers. And we are moving into the last of them now. I've not seen the chat messages coming through. Have you auctioned your show from your spawning? Some have been on. I've only got my absolute top end Tattigoi in the growing pond at the moment, so there'll be no more of those until autumn if I do let any go. Nick asking any Tamasaba coming up. They're in quarantine at the minute. They're going to be coming very, very soon. We'll figure out how we're doing that. Saito, Karashigoi, or the orange/yellow monkeys. For the absolute perfect yellow color, that rich mango that stays that way, I'm with the Saito one right now. If you like that deep going orange/into orange monkeys, the Danichi. There are different characters in the body. I've spoke about that a fair bit. So yeah, each to their own, but I'm seeing what the Saito ones are doing at the minute. In fact, I might have a little video here I can share. Yes, so that bad gateway message. All I'm going to do, folks, is apologize once again. And if bids are getting knocked out, I'm not sure why. I don't think we've altered anything, but I'm not the man who controls that. 215 on the Goshki in the end. Someone else did jump in. Are you growing any Saito on Shooting his side? Yes, that's what I'm just about to try and get you here, because I had my batch come in after the grow out batch that we did. And this video is quite hilarious, just to literally see the world's greenest water you've ever seen as well. It's crazy. We are in to where we're at there. Let's show you this row that's on. Oh, I'll put myself there. Here we go. Yes, all that one's done. A little bit more movement on that Shiro 255. I still think where that's at, you're beating market value for sure. And the Deutsch show currently, that one is going to kill me where that's at. That is going to kill me. But hey, it's the auction. We take our chances. And then down here, so this monkey here, I mean, that's got a very different body setup, but this is really gone the proper orange color. And I do say it in the video, it's pretty cool. Dan's back soon. He's going to have a look, ladies and gents, but I don't know if that'll be in time for getting this slot done. I mean, look at the frame, body frame potential on that. But that color is orange. I've never really seen it in quite properly. Deep glowing orange. And there's no way genetically there for that turning red. It's not going to be Benigoi or anything. That's where it's at. And just look at it as the light hits. It's wild. Absolutely wild. And again, 500 quid. You're just not finding that anywhere, I promise you. Not in that condition either. Same scenario. It's doing it for me, looking at it. I'm glad I've just seen that. Nightmare. Or is it just you lot overloading us? Is that what it is? It's been such an interesting part of, obviously, I'm in between, you know, setting this up, running the farm, the processors, the grow outs, you name it. All of a sudden we've become like a technology business in the background, and the challenges that present with it as well. You know, we won't forget this has been built from the ground up, ground zero, built up, fully bespoke experience, and been done at some crazy ass speed as well, to be honest. I think Dan started with us properly back in January. It was, and we're here where we're at already. It's nuts. But the Shiro ended. That could be because of glitches. But 255. We're now on the Deutsche Shower 280. Come on, people. That is there's massive value there. Massive. Even the Sankey on that page, actually, 7750. It's a lot of the skin's so vibrant on it. Just got that high level luster. That's something that's going to carry through its whole life. And actually a prime example there of a fish that is body related. And this is, I don't expect fish when they're like this to command top price, you know. So it's just environmental. The last half of that fish, it's a toe size. So since arriving, it's not had that opportunity to really push itself, you know, heavy stocking in holding ponds. And yeah, eventually you just don't start forming they'll put a bit of length on and they don't start forming the muscle and fat in that area. So it is thin at the moment. But what you have to do is look around the edges again, the structure. You see, any fish with a head like that, generally, that size, width, you name it, that kind of body length, all you need is you just start conditioning that up. That part of the fish soon catches up, and it's transformational in how the whole thing looks. So if I do that work, obviously, of course, I expect the reward from it, and it does often come. In this instance, I haven't, so it's for you guys, and that again is just a scenario where you can pick up some cracking value. Dan's just asked me as well, just remind people we have got the maximum bids for safety. So if you're struggling, you can put that in and it'll auto bid on your behalf for you. Oh, you're killing me with that Deutsche Shower. It's going to happen, innit? Going to happen. I don't know if that's people having difficulty. 280 quid for that one. Oh, brutal. Brutal. I can absolutely assure you, yeah, someone else can't bid. Fuck's sake. Sorry, folks. Technical errors do seem to be issues plaguing us a little bit. Very frustrating. I can imagine it is for you guys as well. And there's fucking diddly squat I can sit here and do about it. People who have got bids locked on them right now are going to be laughing. You see it absolutely fine from my end at the minute. Did see when it hit me, I just refreshed a couple of times and we got back to it. That's actually, I've forgot in the meantime of that. Dan's at his computer. He's having a look now. We'll see what the crack is. A few bids are getting through though. It's not all too bad. The joys, eh? Ah, dear. Working for me now. Well, there we go. Anyway, we'll see. We will see, and we'll get a report. And as always, folks, once we'll rectify. Whereas not had that for a number of weeks now. We've been getting this some jip, haven't we? Did at one point actually show me the inner workings of like the traffic report on the side. Obviously, as you get a log of every click thing, everything being done, and it was absolutely wild to see how the server was getting blitzed. Well, that does leave us. We're in the territory now of the Coda Deutsch Ginrin 370. There's 6 minutes on it. I did think there'd be a stronger battle on that. Seems that, I mean, early doors, there was a lot of movement, few people in it. Somebody's, just as I've said it, look, movement started on that one. The Yellow Monkey, 500 quid. No bid still. That's there to be had. You've got just under 9 minutes. Benicum Onryu, just one bid. Looks like someone's going to walk away with that as it stands. And then, thankfully, no bids on my Shunku at the moment, which I genuinely am very pleased about. Battle begins on the Deutsch Ginrin. Yeah, anyway, let me get this. I've got this video moved over now. Just have to stop my screen share a bit on here. So this I'm going to show you is my Saito Ginrin Karashis I'm growing on. And the range, believe it or not, in this pond is rammed. It's one at 1,200 gallon ones, 30 to 35 cm. Look at that for green water. And they are absolutely buzzing. So it would appear it is, yes, a bit of a server malfunction, folks. Must have been a very busy night. We've got to increase some capacity, but unfortunately not something that we can do until this is over, because it could cause a major problem. So apologies about that. Yeah, look at that lot, look. Absolutely prime pond full of them. So the plan is, the genuine plan where I started with all this, you've probably seen my two big ones, my two prime ones. My vision, just like with the Golden Court I did last year, is to create a collection of monsters. If I can, I'd like to produce 10 of those big ones out of this in the next 4 years. That'd be absolutely epic. I've got the quantity of them to do it and work through. So, yeah, fingers crossed. But this is desperate. Absolutely desperate for thinning out. It's wild. Anyway, enough of distracting. Yeah. Oh, and someone is on the remaining yellow monkey. Yes, we need some more horsepower. That's what it is. Brilliant. Sorry, no, I did say earlier, no sprint auctions tonight. My cock up because of me rabbit hole. I've been down today prattling around with another project. So I completely forgot I've not edited pictures, and before I know it, I was scrambling back from fish farm to get here for the live stream. So yeah, none on that one. Last 3 minutes now on the Deutschgenring Goschke at 410. That is a new bidder entered the race and heated that one up. Will there be any further challenge on the yellow monkey? It'd be mad not to. I mean, the colour of that thing is quite remarkable. And then the last big unanswered one, I'll get the answer to in about 11 minutes, is of course the Shunku. Is somebody going to start my week off on an absolute low? Never know how it's going to go with those ones at all, especially when it's one of them where it's a bit uncertain. But for sure, again, if I was fixed pricing that, it'd be nowhere near that type of money. But when it comes to the auction, I have to put them in and just hope, you get a couple of people fighting over it, which doesn't seem like that's going to have been the case. Still no more movement on the Deutschgenring Goschke, £410. It's gone quiet. I'm going to look at that Ginring Karashi video again. Look at that. They've not even, I don't even really expect it at this point, got the colour yet too much. Obviously, it being that green doesn't really help with the colour either. Light exposure isn't the best for lifting that up. Are there any Heeltsaurus in stock just to free up some space? I have got a pond of Heeltsaurus. It's another one where I've had UV issues have been relentless. It's been one of them because it's at night time, it's so light still, no one's there. You can never generally see them glowing. So we're just presuming that they're on. Then all of a sudden something goes pea green and it's been a nightmare. And with the lack of time we've had available most of the time, yeah, I think Nath got everything done in that first greenhouse last week. Full service, quartz sleeve, end caps, whole shebang, new Phillips bulbs in them. Happy days. So my Heeltsauri pond, I'm hoping, having seen it progress by end of this week, I'll be able to get into it. And they're actually due for being moved into a bigger pond. Deutschgenring Goschke. Battles started again. Anti-snipe's been triggered. 430 quid. And then of course the yellow monkey. Oh, that was the bit I was going to get to actually. Right, let's because this is where, not to distract everyone too much, my conversation around that value and sort of sniffing it out look sits exactly here with this fish. This Snowgami Showa, exactly as I like to pick them. That for me has been an absolute standout in that pond for every reason I've discussed here. Again, I'm looking at the outline. Really, I'm looking at the outline, picturing the pattern potential as well. And everything there considered, the type of shower that can become gets me very excited. I've had that on there for a week now. There's 50 minutes left before the opportunity goes away. 595 quid, including growing to end of September. There'll definitely be an option to extend it further as well. I'm not rushing them out of that pond. It's just the initial bit factored in. But you can even see it, look, it's got this amazing you know, the stash. There's just elements to the Benny quality. There's a factor here with the scales that I know will put people off. That's just I can see them filling in. You know, it's just the pigment needing to spread. It's one of these things sometimes in young fish that you get, but it's hard to picture this with all the sumi there. And I know I can see what it's doing in elements. And with Nagami Showa, this will happen relatively quickly as well, certainly in the autumn winter period. But that then you start looking at it as a Nisai as it gets into the realms. And it was actually we measured it the other day. It's already 2 cm up on this. Well, actually, it was getting closer to 3 cm. It was somewhere in between. And it's been 3 weeks since we photographed it. So it's absolutely flying. You know, you picture that up as a Nisai of what that can be, male or female, at 595 quid. And I can pretty much guarantee you're just going to be laughing. So much potential there. But that is exactly the type of fish that just doesn't get the looks right now. It gets overlooked. And hence, I put it there. I knew full well. And it's been a week. It's in the last 48 minutes and it's still there available. So when that has ended, that will return to my collection. And you won't see it again until I think it's ready. So I think probably, you know, that winter, some point in the winter period, that's likely going to be. God, yeah, this site is laggy, isn't it? That's crazy. You guys have melted my server. Cheers, folks. Oh, dear. I think I'm having the same thing you guys are. They won't even let me back on it now. Wild. Oh, there we go. A bit of progress. So that Tim, I just bought selected Yamabukyo and Nissa, very pleased from a local show in Essex. Cool. I did see in the stand Mr. Toyota from Ricky. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that. Oh, here we go. I've got a bit of action. We're on our last 3. I'm not going to skip off that again. Benny Kamonryu is in its last minute and a half. No further movement on that. £500. In fact, I might as well get this on screen just in case anybody else gets it with that issue. We've got a battle on the Yellow Monkey, £620. Still great value. Nice to see a bit more on top there, though, because it's well worth every penny. Benny Kamonryu is as well, actually. I think that's going to be a joy. Hopefully, whoever ends up with that will be able to share it in, I think, even in 6 months' time, the way it's been heading, to see what it's become. Transformational, I think, will be the word. And then it's just under 3 minutes until I can relax about my shunku and return that to my my stash. There we go. Been a longer one tonight, folks, hasn't it? Crikey. Appreciate everyone who's stayed in for this long. I think I see a couple of questions here. Andy, yeah. So past couple of days, my koi seems to be going off food. Check the water, everything's okay, and fish look fine. Temperature's 24. Oxygen levels, anything's changed. Not been particularly too hot. You might be overfeeding them a bit, Andy. Possibly, you know, they might just need a bit of a break. It can happen, especially in the summer. You're plowing it down them. Have you increased it and they've gone off it a bit? You know, it changes. As something spooked them, that can happen as well. You know, loads of potential reasons. And that is auction over on the Benny Comonrio and the Yellow Monkey. And the Shunku is still there. You're not going to get me hyping it up in the slightest. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. Hi, Ricky. Thinking of switching to Saki Akari balance. Would you recommend all year round? Absolutely no issues with that. If it works for you, it's a cracking all-rounder. You'll get fantastic growth out of it. A little bit lighter on your system overall as well. I didn't see that earlier. Hi from Vancouver, Ireland. Always fun to tune in and drool over the spectacular koi with amazing prices. Yellow Monkey and those Shiro are epic. Thank you very much. Hell of a lot of people again from States and Canada at the moment. Such a shame we can't serve you guys as it stands. It's getting to 1.5 minutes. It's not going to go anywhere anyway, so happy days. On the Nagami, what's the plan after the growing period? How long will it be able to grow on and what's the costs? So it'll be another 3-month block it'll be able to be entered into, and that'll be, I think, £180 in the pond it's in. Then it can be overwintered. There might even be continuing growing after that, but obviously we step it out period by period. But it's there's a hell of a lot of value there to be had in that fish. I'm telling you now. Just got to look at the head on it alone. Got a cracking hooter on it. It really has. You don't know how anxious I am. I regretted putting it from the minute I did the video and dropped it. I regretted putting that in. Just personally, really, really enjoying it. Never been so anxious about hoping a fish doesn't sell. And that'll officially carry the title as the first fish not to sell in. Oh, fuck off. Who's just done that? Oh, that's fucking cruel. That is actually cruel. Brutal. Brutal. Oh, you'd actually think I'd be happy. I'm really not. I knew that was going to happen. Now I do need to G someone up. We need a competitor. We need someone to come and challenge and get that to an acceptable price point for me. So if we can just need about another £1,000 adding to it, and I think I'll be able to sleep quite comfortably. Crikey. I think I did put on there, or I'm not sure if I did, but it's got growing till the end of September. And I will 100% be extending a further option on it because I'll be in no rush to see it leave either, to be honest. So worth bearing in mind. Crikey. Anyway, there we go. That is the only consoling part of it, because genuinely so much enjoyment seeing those fish grow through and getting to raise them through and actually getting to that point of potential, which, as we're saying, it's 3, 4, 5 years. So we'll see what goes off with that one over time. I haven't actually. I was having a chat with Saito the other day just to see what he'd been producing. He has produced something. I was desperate for him to do last year, but the spawning failed, and he's nailed it this year, which is going to be exciting, let me tell you. I didn't ask him about Shunku. I'm not seeing it crop up. I did ask him what he managed to get done. Didn't see him on the list. Got a few this year. Not anything like what they were though, or the numbers, and I don't know if he had many more that might be there as Nisai in autumn, but we shall have to wait and see. But nonetheless, I'll be digging in here in a minute into the system and see who that actually is, who's got it. And yeah, I think there's going to be something quite remarkable at the end of the journey on that one. And again, do get to say that. We're not forgetting, I selected that out. You talk about, you know, having the eye for the potential. I spotted that out, that batch back then 2 years ago. And then when you see it, you've got to raise it through. You've got to actually deliver it. And it has gone. Someone's had the shits and giggles there, haven't they? Oh, dearie me. Anyway. There we are. I won't keep anybody any longer. It's been a long one. There's a whole, so just before you go, next week, definitely confirmed so far, you're going to have a live pond side sale. It's going to be one of the toe side ones where you get to select out of a batch live on the stream. Tuesday 6 p.m. and then Thursday 6 p.m. we'll be on it as well with the pond side with individual fish like we did this week. It was crazy busy, that one. And then obviously there'll be bits running throughout in between on the run up to next Sunday. So there we go. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone who's tuned in, take part, won fish. I'm not sure I'm going to give thanks on that last one. We'll wait and see. But there we go. I will catch you all again soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening.